Right, Chicago blues. So what is it Chicago blues all about? We know that blues is a kind of music. It's a kind of music genre. Okay. So we are dancing the blues about the Chicago State University with respect to Tinubu's certificate condition. So let's see what this blues is about now. I am compelled by our present circumstances in Nigeria to look back into aspects of American history. The United States of America, that country whose deep south region gave us blues, that music genre that incorporated spirituals, chants, and narrative ballads from the African American culture, is happening to us now. Oh boy. The defining features of blues were despondency and melancholy. It spoke to depressed and sad spirits. Depression and sadness were the lot of peoples of African descent who were taken into slavery in America, mainly in the plantation South in the 19th century. Their state of mind gave rise to blues music. The genre afforded them the opportunity to relate emotionally with whatever troubles and sadness that they were going through. It is worthy of note that slavery was abolished in the United States in the 1860s by Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of America, having ended slavery and created the possibility of civil and social freedom. Lincoln in American history embodied freedom. America remembers Lincoln as one of its greats because he was a quintessential American dreamer who rose from the patches of poverty to the power and influence of American presidency. As a country, Nigeria shares the American ideal of freedom and greatness. This has been the country's preoccupation since independence in 1960. Nigerians have relentlessly been fighting and yearning for a country that will give them freedom, dignity, peace, and progress. They came very close to getting this in 2023. That was the year of a presidential election like no other. Nigerians had hoped for a new day, but forces of darkness conspired to defer their dreams. Exactly. But there is an ongoing struggle to get to the promised land. Significantly, this struggle has, ferreted us to the American city of Chicago, the land of Lincoln. It is said, however, that Chicago, the city where Lincoln spent 31 out of his 56 short years on planet Earth, is giving us the very opposite of what Lincoln stood for. One of his notable citadels of learning, Chicago State University, has not been the best of friends to Nigeria. As we noted earlier, Nigeria as a country aspires to be great like the United States. That is why it adopts and adapts most of the things that America does, including its presidential system of government. But if America was expected to help Nigeria in its quest to become a truly democratic and democratized country, CSU played the spoiled sport. Okay, CSU played the spoiled sport when it refused to release to concerned Nigerians the vital information they needed about their president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It took the intervention of the courts for Tinubu's academic records in Chicago State University to be released to Atiku Abubakar, who had requested for information on this. Whereas America works hard to preserve the integrity of its presidency, what came out from CSU on Nigeria's president was damaging. Should the CSU have attempted keeping these sleazy details secret to the detriment of Nigerian presidency, as it tried to do, it was un-American to have attempted doing so. So who is the man Tinubu? Who is this protein personality that defies understanding? Unraveling his mystic is the most urgent of tasks before Nigerians. As they try to make sense out of the head of the Hydra, they see before them a Bola Tinubu who has become too much of a distraction to the Nigerian people. Since he stepped forward to bid for the presidency, Nigerians have spent the greater part of their time talking about the enigmatic politician. The people are struggling to pigeonhole him. They want to know who he is, but this has been a Herculean task. The more the people strive to put him in a straitjacket, the more intractable he becomes. As things stand, Nigerians appear to be holed up in a Tinubu country. His preferences, sympathies, and idiosyncrasies have become the standard of measurement, having grabbed the presidency in a manner that was never done before by anybody in Nigeria. Tinubu is staking everything possible to ensure that he remains in the saddle. He started on a note of loathsomeness when he ignored the religious sensibilities of the people and gave Nigeria a Muslim presidency. It was once unheard of in Nigeria, but Tinubu broke in just to ensure that his scheme to grab power worked. Now, to underline the fact that Tinubu was single-minded in his pursuit of the presidency, he played only on his own turf. While other candidates met the people at town halls and village squares to sell their agenda, Tinubu went underground. He never participated in public debates. For him, that did not matter. He worked towards an outcome. He was Machiavellian both in disposition and approach. With the collusion and connivance of the Buhari presidency and a pliant electoral commission, Tinubu was declared the president under very controversial circumstances. The controversy has landed all of us in court, with two major candidates, Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar, working hard to overturn Tinubu's questionable mandate. This is ongoing, but the records just released from CSU seem to have marked a significant turning point in the entire Tinubu saga. Oh boy. However, the fact that we live in a Tinubu country is behind the people's worries and skepticisms. We were all here, okay, when the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal ignored the load of evidence brought against Tinubu and affirmed instead that he was validly elected as president. Nigerians, as complacent as they are, went about their normal business. They treated it as a no event. Now the Chicago papers are speaking to us afresh, with the Nigerian media, which has been fighting skies stand up to be counted this time. Nigerians must find answers to the nagging issues of complacency and compromise that we face when, for instance, religious leaders who should be the conscience of the nation play the ostrich. It is an indication that the country is sick. Today, our pastors are equivocating. They are speaking from both sides of their mouth. They are doing this at the time we expect them to stand up on the path of truth. When once acerbic and strident Nigerian media fights shy, it is an indication that the values have changed. What we hold dear depends on what is at offer. Can any country make progress in this unflattering situation? It is questions and more questions, all for Tinubu Bagam. This guy, right, Sha? I'm telling you, trying to compare the situation we are in to Abraham Lincoln and the city of Chicago, where he spent 31 years of his 53 years on earth, and then how the blues, the music called blues, originated from America as well. Okay, the meaning of the blues, how the slaves used it to, to meditate into their past and the present when they were taken into slavery, and how Abraham Lincoln rose up from grass to grace to become a president, and then stopped the slave trade and provided freedom and made made Americans, both black and white, experience freedom or knew what freedom is like. So the second name of Abraham Lincoln is almost tantamount to freedom. Okay, but again, the same city of Chicago, where Abraham Lincoln spent most of his time working on the Project Freedom, is again the state that has the university that has just released very controversial report about Tinubu's education from that institution. Okay, so but Nigerians have been very docile about this. When, in fact, the writer is trying to draw attention also to how the tribunal went, and Nigerians have treated it like a normal thing and gone about the normal business. Now, in the wake of that, or at the dawn of that, we've seen another report coming from the CSU about the same Tinubu of a person. Now, Nigeria is becoming a Tinubu country, a country of forgers and perjury and people who, I don't know, who are corrupt. And I'm sure while we are grappling with this CSU report as well, we are going to see dossier of his report coming from the FBI again. The question is, will Nigeria continue to be docile? And if yes, how long will Nigeria continue to be docile in a situation like this? So let me take a few comments, just a few comments here. Somebody said, let's wait for the FBI report on him. His empire will crumble. Okay, few religious bigots from the north use religion and other form of inducements and declare the man they knew very well that he has credibility issue both at home and abroad to lead us as a nation. This national shame and embarrassment will forever remain in the household of those that forced him on this nation. That is it. Somebody saying, in which village do you have the FBI in Nigeria? Tell the FBI to release the past chain of events of their president and not ours. Can you imagine? This must be a tribal bigot that has come here to air his view. And somebody has come out now to question him and say, hi Latif, will surely support a thief. Nari Latif. I can see the way they are trying to work it out there. Okay. So they are calling this iPod fake news. I don't know why when anytime truth is published, they will link it to Igbo. And that is the tribal bigotry that they have used to divide this country, and it's not healthy for us. So thank you for listening, and let's have your comments.